Should a teacher move on, recap, or reteach? Well, Professor Dylan Wiliam calls this one of the most important instructional decisions that teachers have to make. But most teachers make this decision without a clear picture of what their students' understanding of the topic is. Of course, some teachers can ask for a show of hands, some teachers might ask one or two students, but this doesn't give you a full class picture and is really prone for gaps in understanding to open up across your whole class. Of course, there is formative assessment, which gives you a real deeper understanding, but formative assessment is really time intensive and it may only happen a handful of times throughout the year. Nurture Signal solves this by letting teachers check their whole class understanding every 4 to 6 minutes as opposed to every 4 to 6 weeks. So to demonstrate what I mean by this, I've got a session set up on Nurture Signal here. I have 3 hinge questions based on the topics of the lesson. And after I teach a certain topic, I will release that question to my students. They will answer it and I will get live data back on the students' responses. So after I taught my first topic, I'll release this first question. And as my students' responses come in, I get a live picture of what they submitted. Now I can see in this instance, all of them have got it right. So Nurture Signal is recommending that I move on. Now, this scale is based on Barton's scale, where if they are mostly correct or all correct, it generally advises you to move on. Half correct, we advise you to recap. And if mostly incorrect or all incorrect, we advise the teacher to reteach. Okay. Now, with each of these bands, we give a little bit more guidance on how they should do that, whether it is to maybe work with the 20% who missed it, pair up participants for peer work involving the whole group, or use peer coaching, set extension work for the minority, and reteach the rest. Now, the teacher doesn't have to follow that advice. It's just what Nurture Signal is calling out to them as what they could do with this group of students. Now, one point I want to call out is that even though every student got this right here, they also had to give an explanation as to why they chose their answer. Okay, this helps us try and track down any false positives students might get and ensures that we're understanding the thinking behind the student's answer. Now, a point on that though, a good hinge question, as Professor Dylan Wiliam points out, involves each answer being a diagnostic of a wrong answer. So in these cases, the wrong answers here help to explain students' thinking if they had chosen them. Okay. Now, for the next question, once I'm happy with this, I can either reveal the answer to the students. I don't have to. I can just move on to my next question, which is question 2, and I'll open up that question to students. Now, it will mean I'll have to close the previous question so that no more students can submit that one. But once I open this, this is the next question that students get. And once again, as my student responses come in, we get a little bit more data on this one. As we can see, some students picked some incorrect answers. Because this is a multiple choice question with multiple correct answers, we have a little bit more data on this one. So we show the number of students who got this fully correct, number of students who got it maybe partially correct, and the number of students that got it fully incorrect. Okay. Now, because overall 5 out of the 9 correct answers were selected, it is going to recommend me to recap and recheck again. Okay, now where am I getting that 5 out of 9 from? Well, there's 3 correct answers in this question and there's 3 students in this active session, which means with that there can be a maximum of 9 correct answers if all students were to get them all correct. And from this here we can see that 5 out of them were correct. So for Dave here, he got Britain and the United States, but he missed Australia. For Jane here, she got this entirely incorrect, probably just confused the Axis and Allied. So she selected Germany and Japan, but missed the 3 correct ones. So that's your 4 missing correct answers. Okay. Final question, if I move on to question 3, is another question on the end of the World War. So I'll just open up that question to students. And once again, as my students' answers come in, I get a live picture of where the class stands on this topic. So we can see most of these were actually incorrect. This should fall under the recap and recheck again, as just because we have 3 students here, there isn't, under 20% of the answers incorrect here. But on a larger class, we would be able to give you a more accurate picture than just 3 students. We can see here that 2 students got World War I and World War II mixed up, and that is why what makes a good diagnostic question is that there's answers in there, not necessarily to catch out students, but helps understand students' thinking as they selected it. Obviously, we still capture why they selected their answer, but this immediately tells you, okay, I need to obviously recap here. Okay, so this is an overview of what Nurture Signal is capable of at the moment, and we are going to develop it out further. But if you are interested in trying it out for your school, get in touch and we would love to help get you set up.